up guys, welcome back. I just came back from a little vacation and I'm recharged, ready for a new series of reviews. And we're going to do that today by taking a little trip down memory lane. That's right, we're going to take a look at a game which was originally developed for the SEGA Genesis or SEGA Mega Drive. But upon the eve of release, the publisher decided to hold off for the time being, which sure enough turned out to be 25 years. Yep, the game was pretty much lost to obscurity till last year when Strictly Limited Games dusted off the game and made it work on the Nintendo Switch. That's right, and based on this development history alone, I was extremely intrigued to take a look at this game. So when I received the review code, thank you very much for that one, I didn't waste any time, dived straight in and had a look at this game. But does it hold up to today's standards, or for that matter, even to Sega standards? Let's find out in today's review of UltraCore for Nintendo Switch. Originally developed by famed game company Digital Illusions, also known as DICE, UltraCore, or as it was known originally, Hardcore, was set for release in 1994-1995. But because of the promise of new consoles to be released soon, like the Sony PlayStation, the game was held back from reaching the market by publisher Psygnosis, better known for their releases of The Lemmings, Toy Story, A Bug's Life, and the Wipeout series, all of which are amazing games in their own right, and some of which are my all-time favorites, especially those green-haired lemmings. And had it not been for game publisher Strictly Limited Games, that is where the story would have ended. A peculiar development history, and one which has piqued my interest all the more. In terms of storyline, there's not much to write home about. There's no intro animation, and in no way are we made aware of any plot other than the in-game messages we get drip-fed throughout the game. Already everything here screams Sega. It's a typical run-and-gun platformer of the mid-90s, but with a ton of charm. The overall setting, audio and visuals, and gameplay are carried over very adequately to Nintendo's latest gaming platform. The only real alteration in regards to gameplay, or rather the control scheme, is that there's an option for twin-stick shooting, which works quite well. Simply move around with the left joystick while you use your right joystick to aim and shoot at the same time. Something which would have been impossible on the original hardware, but rather crucial in a game like this, to be honest. UltraCore is a compilation of 5 rather large stages, or levels, which feature plenty of enemies, mid-level bosses, and genuine boss fights. Although the game is very much an action run-and-gun platformer first, there's an abundance of puzzle elements which are mandatory in order to progress through the stages. In each stage, you'll be looking for a door which will lead you to the boss fight, and on your way, you'll be moving in all directions of the screen. Teleport to other parts of the level through access doors, or fall to your death in the numerous bottomless pits. Each door will have to be opened by finding access cards, which then need to be activated at set terminals, which are strategically placed through the stages. These terminals also allow you to access the level map, which in all due respect is a nice touch, but doesn't really add anything to the game. The access cards can be hidden in just about everything, in ceilings, floors, walls, etc., along with the regular extra lives, coins, and other upgrades, to which we'll circle back to in a little bit. In UltraCore, you'll be facing a lot of enemies, and I mean a lot. You'll see them dropping from the heavens, moving up and down using elevators, which you actually activate all the time, hanging from the ceilings, driving, walking, running and hopping along, blasting at you at every opportunity with a wide array of bullets and bombs. As if this isn't enough of a challenge, there's a lot of platforming for you to do, from regular run and jumping to more advanced jumps, including instant deaths whenever you mistime your jump. I mean, sure, why not? Overall, it feels pretty solid and is, in fact, a ton of fun. There is, however, quite an imbalance, which results in plenty of cheap deaths. In some of the later stages, you'll be faced with trampoline platforms, which require some getting used to. The problem of these, though, is not so much the getting used to the exact timing of the jump, but the fact that when you happen to get a wrong timing on your jump, which happens way too often in the beginning, there is no failsafe and you'll be losing life upon precious life. Another example of the difficulty of balancing the platforming parts is the timed jumping in and on sliding platforms, which crush you if you are so much as a split second too late or can't find your way out. And then there are platforms which at times just push you off for no reason. Growing up with games like Mega Man and Ninja Gaiden, I don't shun from a challenge, but these issues were absolutely maddening at times, especially when you're absolutely acing a level, blasting your way through and finding hidden coins and the like, and then you see your lives run down to zero over a simple jump or two. Another balancing issue in UltraCore is the difficulty of the mid and final boss battles. In comparison to the regular enemies scattered throughout the stages, these boss fights are really too easy and rarely require more than one attempt. I was genuinely surprised by this, as attack patterns are too basic and there are plenty of safe zones in these bouts. On the upside, if you're a Mega Man veteran for example, you'll be finishing off these bosses without getting as much as a scratch. But really, these boss fights should be the testing grounds of all of your skills, and in that regard the game falls short, unfortunately. As I made mention before, the stages hold plenty of secrets, like more advanced and powerful weapons, weapon upgrades, extra lives, bombs and coins. Some of these are simply lying about or hanging high up, ready to be collected, whilst others are hidden behind breakable parts which you can blast apart using any of your weapons. I recommend don't use your more advanced weapons, as those bullets will run out. The coins can be used to buy ammunition for any of your guns except for your basic weapon, which has unlimited bullets. You can also use them to recover some of your health or even buy bombs. The picking up of stronger weapons and subsequently weapon upgrades really pays off whilst fighting tougher enemies, allowing you to focus more on the tricking platforming parts. But at some point in time you'll meet your maker when you run out of lives and continues. Unfortunately, there's no save game in UltraCore, but the age-old password system is your last resort. And let me start by saying that there are very good reasons why the password system died out, and that by the time UltraCore was supposed to come out in the mid-90s, there was no need to rely on such password systems to begin with. It is one of the most obtrusive elements in this game. When we reach the audio department, we find all the sound effects one would hope for, and some really good pieces of background music, very much in tune with the gameplay and graphical representation. As mentioned before, one of the consequences of adapting this game for the Switch is the twin-stick shooting. Another element which plays a significant role in this game is the additional soundtrack, or rather, soundtracks for UltraCore, which can be selected in the options menu. And to be fair, even though I really dig the original music, the new tracks are not very harmonious with the gameplay or its graphical output, but all the same are very well suited for a game like this, urging you on. Check out the difference between the two in the very same level and take your pick. There you have it guys, UltraCore for Nintendo Switch. A genuine 90s creation, a story in and of itself. Dead and buried, left for the annals even before the original release. And then 25 years later, seeing itself being released on the hottest console on the market, being the Nintendo Switch. You don't come across these stories all too often. And I want to give a shout out to Strictly Limited Games for bringing this game to Nintendo Switch. The more I play this game, the better it gets actually, and so far I'm like 6-7 hours into this game, and it is a marvelous game right up until the moment you start dying countless deaths over those cheap deaths, really. They are the most horrible. I mean, on my last run, I had collected like 8 lives, right up until I hit those trampolines, after which I lost 5 of them in like 60 seconds. Absolutely maddening. And yes, the game is plagued by some balancing issues, and that password system, that really has to go. But you know, the music is really good, and overall the game just screams SEGA. And if you're a fan of the genre, especially of games of that era, then this is just the pickup for you. And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it for today. I hope you have enjoyed the little show. I hope you have enjoyed the review. If you have, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Drop a comment in this section down below. Have you ever heard of this game, the original title being hardcore, or in this current state and form being UltraCore? Planning on picking this one up, giving this one a pass? I'm curious to hear from you. And I will see you next time.